everyone, so I'm going to do a quick video on VLOOKUPs. The idea of a VLOOKUP is that you're looking up a value in one spreadsheet and you want it to return a value from another spreadsheet. So you can do lookups across multiple different sheets, like a shared Excel file or something, but doing that can be kind of buggy sometimes, especially like if someone deletes the spreadsheet or the link is broken or something like that. So I recommend doing it within the same workbook. It's a lot easier that way and robust. Okay, so let's do a VLOOKUP. So first thing you do is you type equals VLOOKUP, open parenthesis. So the first thing it asks is lookup value. So in this case, I'm going to look up Jones, right? Next thing is table array. So where am I looking up Jones? What table? Where do I want the value returned from? So we want it returned from sheet 2 here. And I'm going to copy all this here. This is where all my data is, right? So then comma. So you selected your table array, comma. Next thing is column index number. So you notice Jones is this one. So wherever your value is on the lookup table array, you want to start that at 1. So Jones is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, that's 1. That's our lookup value. 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I looking up Jones here and I wanted to return, let's say, unit costs, I would count 1, 2, 3, 4. So my column index number is 4. Then next thing it asks, do you want it to be an approximate match or an exact match? In this case, I want to do an exact match, so I'm going to type false here. I'm not really sure when you would do an approximate match. I usually use exact match, so pretty much always type false. So once you're done, you close it, and then press enter. That's it. So in this case, Jones didn't return anything. I wonder why. Let me see. It should have returned total, right? Oh, you know why? Because I chose A through G. So it's better if you choose starting from here to here. So C through G, because it's looking for Jones somewhere over here. All right. So that should work. There you go. So let's start over again. So equals VLOOKUP. Open, lookup values Jones, table array here. So you want to start from where your value is going to be all the way over. So don't start from A like I did earlier. Alright, so I wanted to return unit cost, right? So Jones is here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If I want to return the total, it would be 5. Units 3, etc. So here in this case is 4. False, close, enter. There it is. So now you can drag this formula all the way down like that. I'm going to do Control Z. Another neat trick I learned from my wife. You can actually double click here. Oh, that's pretty cool. Actually never knew that. Alright, so we'll call this sheet 2. Even though it's right here, this is just sample data to kind of show you. Let's say that for some reason some of these names are missing, right? So what would happen, oh, these happen to not be unique, so you can ignore this. We're gonna get rid of the unique stuff. Data, remove duplicates. Right. So ignore what I just did. It's probably kind of confusing. Okay, so I want to show you what you do when there's an NA in there. So let me get rid of these unique stuff here, or duplicate stuff. Alright, so what happens is it got rid of all the duplicates, so it's only unique stuff left. I'm going to get rid of all this here. So clean data. So these are different enough. Alright, so I'm basically trying to create an instance where there's going to be an NA. So let's do that VLOOKUP again. So equals VLOOKUP. I'm looking up Jones. Table array is, I select where the data is. So I start from where the value is to the end of the data. I want it to return, let's do returning units this time. So 1, 2, 3, right? And I want it to be an exact match. So comma, false. Oops. Close, enter. There you go. Let's drag this all the way down, or double click like I learned. Cool. So if I get rid of one of these over here, get rid of GIL. Over here should be NA. See? So basically the VLOOKUP formula is saying, hey, there's no GIL on sheet 2, so I'm going to return a not available or applicable, whatever. If you read this, it says value not available error. Yay. So how do I get rid of that? I don't want to see NA every time something's not available, right? So this is how you do that. So I'm going to call this column NA formula. So, alright. So what you do is you do an if statement. So if, equals if is NA. So the logical test is NA. So this checks whether value is NA and returns true or false. So if is NA, so open. I'm going to choose this value here. Close. So if this is true, what do you want it to say? We'll say unicorns because they're cool. And if it's false, what do you want it to say? Let's say we'll say not NA so that you know, okay? So this value happens to be NA, so this returns unicorn. If it's not NA, let's put a 0 here. Enter. Say it's not NA, but if it goes back to NA. So now we're going to nest this formula into this one, okay? So how you do it? So a simple way is you create two formulas and you basically copy this here all the way to the equal sign. So don't copy the equal sign. So what I did is I selected it, I went up here, I copied it. I'm going to press escape to get out of it. I'm going to click back here. I'm going to replace H5 here because that's where the formula is placed, right? So I'm going to paste here, and then if it's false, I want it to actually return whatever value it is. So I'm going to paste it here again. Okay, then press enter. That's it. So now if I copy all all this here. Whoops. It's actually not correct. Hold on. So I'm going to select the right one now. There you go. So I'm going to copy here. So what I did there is I wanted, since I copied from here, it copied the C2 as well. We're not looking up C2, right? We're looking up C5, see? But another way you can do it is you can just select here and add to this. So I'm going to add equals if parentheses is NA again. We're going to close this. So if this value returns to NA, I want it to say gremlins. Doesn't matter. Okay. If it doesn't, if it's not NA, then I want it to actually return something. So I'm going to copy this formula here. So VLOOKUP, C2, all that, all the way to this parentheses in between here. Okay. Copy that, paste it after this comma here, close the statement, press enter. But you notice this time it's referencing the right cell. So C2, here again, C2. Alright, so press enter. I'm gonna all the way down. So I'm gonna drag all the way down. So this NA right here should turn to gremlins. There it is. So whenever there's an NA, I want it to say gremlins. Whenever it's not NA, I want it to return whatever value it's returning. So let's make another NA. So I'm going to get rid of this Smith here. And then that Smith should turn to gremlins. There it is. So let's turn this. So you see this Morgan here. Let's get rid of Morgan. Morgan should say gremlins. There it is. And also says unicorn because we have the NA formula here already. So let's recap. So VLOOKUP, I'm going to get rid of all this. Right. So VLOOKUP is equals VLOOKUP your value. So Jones, let's do Jones. Your table array, so where the data is, so I'll select from your value on what column you want it to return. So 1, 2, 3, 4, let's do 5 this time. So the total 5, approximate or exact, always exact for me at least. There it is. So NA formula, I don't want to see NAs whenever the value is not found, right? So let's do equals if, you want to do if statement, is NA, open this, select this value, yeah. If it's true, what do you want it to say? We'll say Santa Claus this time. Doesn't matter. In this case, I'm going to leave it blank, right? So it doesn't matter. Don't put 2 quotation marks there. You'll see why in a second. Alright, so it's not NA, so it's blank. So I'm going to take this formula here, up to the VLOOKUP, press escape, click here. I'm going to replace this H2 here with that VLOOKUP formula and replace these quotation marks. So basically when it's not NA, I want it to return a value. Place here. And then you see how it's actually looking up the right thing now. So there it is. So same thing, right? I'm going to drag this all the way down so you know it works. So in this case, Gil is not here because we deleted earlier. So return Santa Claus. So another way you can do that, you add to the VLOOKUP. So you type if after the equals, if is NA, open, close, comma, copy this. Oh, first thing you wanted to say is, let's say Rudolph. I think that's how you spell Rudolph. I don't know. Doesn't look right, but then VLOOKUP again, paste, close, enter. That's it. So I'm going to drag this down or double click here. So every time it doesn't exist, it returns Rudolph. Alright, that's it. I hope you learned something. If you have any other suggestions for videos, just comment below. Thanks, guys. Bye.